Hello, this is Tony Hiller from visitech.ai. In this video, we're going to use Visitech to examine the long-term financial effects of the pandemic. It's been almost 6 years since the country was locked down to prevent the spread of COVID-19. But I'm going to start this story 6 months earlier in 2019. This is what visitech.ai looks like for subscribers. It's designed to work with just about any type of data, but for this video I'm going to be showing you financial data. The first thing I'm going to do is select from datasets. Then I'm going to click on Government and Pandemic. Now I'm going to scroll down to Soma Holdings and click on it. Now we have a graph of different government security holdings over time. The one I'm interested in right now is bills, so I'm going to select only that one. Now I'm going to hit Reset Zoom so that we can see the graph better. What we're seeing now is a graph of U.S. government Treasury bill holdings over time. You can see that the U.S. government purchased a huge amount of Treasury bills between October 2019 and March of 2020. This was the 5 months preceding the lockdowns. I don't know why they did that, but you can also see that they started purchasing T-bills again in December of last year. Now let's look at a different data set, the U.S. national debt. The one I'm interested in is total public debt outstanding, so I'm going to select that one. You can see that there was a big spike in the national debt between April and June 2020. The U.S. government borrowed about $3 trillion during that period. And since March 2020, the U.S. national debt has risen very quickly. The national debt is now approaching $39 trillion and has doubled since about 2016. In order to understand what's going on, let's look at federal interest payments. You can see that U.S. government interest payments on the debt have more than doubled since the pandemic. Interest payments are rising very rapidly for the government and are now more than $1.2 trillion per year. Next, let's look at Treasury bill interest rates. This data is organized a little bit differently, and in order to see the graph, we're going to have to take an additional step. We're going to click on the Options tab. Then we're going to select from the Y-axis selection Average Interest Rate Amount and click on the Draw button. Now we have a graph of Treasury bill interest rates over time. You can see that interest rates dropped to close to zero during the pandemic and then shot way up once the economy started recovering. Let's look now at how the low interest rates and government stimulus spending affected home prices. We're going to select the U.S. National Home Price Index. Home prices started increasing very rapidly in the United States because of stimulus from the U.S. government. The combination of low interest rates and the U.S. government pumping huge amounts of cash into the economy caused housing prices to skyrocket. Next, let's look at the overall Consumer Price Index. As a result of government actions, consumer prices have increased very rapidly since 2020. The combination of low interest rates and government borrowing lots of money drove prices through the roof. Our final data set we're going to look at is probably the most interesting one. Net worth held by the top 0.1%. You can see that since the beginning of the pandemic, the net worth of billionaires has about doubled. And the rapid increase in the wealth of the ultra-rich began right around the date of the lockdowns. Small companies were shut down and people had to do their shopping at Walmart and Amazon. Before I finish, let's take one more look at the T-bill government holdings graph. The U.S. economy has been fundamentally transformed since the government started buying lots of Treasury bills in the middle of October 2019. And since December 10th of last year, they've started doing it again. I'm not an economist, I'm a data analyst, and I won't pretend to understand what's going on. All I can do is observe. And with visitech.ai, you can do the same.